Hey gamers, it's time for you to meet your new sex goddess. Do you like what you see, big boy? Does this turn you on? Is this what you want? Well, it better be, or you're a misogynist. This is the new face of beauty. The dumb, the drum, that was very clever, right? On Twitter, put out an ad in conjunction with Epic Games and Women in Games that reads as, Dove takes a stand against overly sexualized women. Let's pause right there. So essentially, coming out of the gate, what they're saying is anything that men may find more attractive than this lady is over sexualized. I guess this is standard sexualized. Nummy, you better like what you see, guys, or you better learn to like it. The tweet goes on, of course, taking a stand against overly sexualized women in games with Epic Games, Unreal Engine, education team. Okay, that's kind of odd. Okay, so their education team, like re-education, and Women in Games, eliminating stereotypes and to build young players' self-esteem and body confidence. What stereotypes? Are they stating that what people find attractive to be a stereotype and maybe not something that's kind of ingrained into them over thousands and thousands and thousands of years of evolution? An instinct that tells us what to look for in a potential mate to make sure that our offspring's going to be okay, that they're going to be healthy. But the ad itself just blew me away, and the replies in here are absolutely incredible. I know I'm going to be seen as a misogynist for not seeing obesity as attractive. I just simply don't, and I don't have to justify that. I like what I like. But of course, that's kind of what these things are meant to do, to make you feel like you're a bad person for finding attractive what you find to be attractive. What is the real motivation for doing this? What is the real motivation for telling girls and women, do not try to improve yourself? You're perfect just the way you are. You're number one. Don't try to get in better shape. No. That's the patriarchy. That's horrible, hateful people telling you that you need to lose weight to make sure you don't eat yourself into an early grave. It's not you that has a problem. It's the rest of the world. The rest of the world needs to change the way that they think about things. These campaigns like this instead go after everybody else and say, well, you need to find this attractive. No, I don't. You don't get to tell me what to do in that field. So essentially what the ad comes down to, just to give a very abbreviated version of it, is that this is what our heroine looks like in her armor, right? You can see the sides of her hips, long legs, and she's got the lady parts. But then she takes off her armor and she is she is not over-sexualized, I think is the word that our common day clergy would choose to define her. Okay. And then this is her without her armor on, right? Like, okay, woo, yes, slay queen. Because as we all know, people who are overweight are so well known for their athletic prowess. And then to drive the point home, they say, look, this picture is here to say, this is a real woman. As if in shape women do not exist. And the excuse for this, the excuse for attempting to change the way that, really what they're trying to do is force their values into the video game industry. They're saying we need more control. You need to let us dictate to you how your women are designed. 74% of girls feel underrepresented in video games. Okay, even if that's true, how on earth do we do? Well, first, why do we want to do anything about it? I've never seen a video game character that's representative of me. None of them look like me, with the same background as me, with the same name as me, with the same likes and dislikes as me. I guess to be represented in a video game, a character has to be the same gender as you, and with over 1,000 of those out there, the odds are already against the game developer. Then you gotta have the correct race, then you gotta have the correct body type. You know, and because body types can't change, right? A person can't lose weight. Stay the way that you are. Don't improve yourself. Don't try to get healthy. It's everybody else that's the problem, not you. The level of infantilization of people today. And if you notice, these companies never, ever, ever talk about the male body types in these kinds of games. Yeah, sure. Every now and then a video game might have a fat male character, but typically they're not the good guy, or they're certainly not the hero. Like from my own, let's get off this screen, jeez. I mean, the heroes from my favorite series, like Resident Evil, Chris Redfield, he's a Hulk of a man. Leon Kennedy, he's kind of slimmer, but he's also muscular and he's charismatic and cool. Carlos Oliveira. Take Street Fighter, for example. Ryu's a Hulk of a man. And he's considered the protagonist of the series. How many men do you see walking around looking like that? I'm supposed to believe that this person is able to slay dragons, but yet they couldn't chase an ice cream truck for a mile. Now, I don't believe for a second that any of these companies are so magnanimous as to care if girls feel represented in video games. So what are they really after? Now, the first time I watched it, I thought it had more to do with trying to once again convince guys what they should be attracted to. It's been going on for nearly a decade. You know, a man is shallow if he likes a woman to be thin or athletic. Which, by the way, if you take a look at what a woman who would be in fighting shape would look like, let's scare away all the woke folks. This is Gina Carano, a former UFC fighter. This is what a woman typically looks like when they're in fighting shape. But if that's too harsh for you, I got another one for you. Here's Ronda Rousey, another notable UFC fighter. Again, notice something about her. She's not exactly flowing out of her clothes now, is she? You know, I can't help but notice that there is a common theme amongst female athletes. However, there's always the exception to the rule. Let's not forget this delicate flower. An athlete who won the females powerlifting championships. So I guess that is a strike against my point. Oh, but back to my point. Is that I thought this was just about, hey guys, you need to move your standards to where we want them to be, where essentially you have no standards. So that way, whenever a lady decides that she wants a man, you're sitting there fucking waiting for her at the end of the road. But it turns out it's not even that benevolent. Spencer Bakuli of Bounding into Comics wrote an article about this while I was taking a nap. I was going to do this video, but I decided, I'm going to lay down and get some sleep. Then whenever I woke up, I got a notification that they'd done an article on this. So, I guess that's a boon for me because I get to look into Spencer's research here. As always, since I'm reading their article, I'm going to say, please subscribe to their YouTube, their Twitter, and check out their website. So here he states the premise of the ad, right? It called on players to eliminate stereotypes, I don't know what those stereotypes are, and build young players' self-esteem and body confidence. Instead of building a body you can be confident in, instead be confident with the body you have. Like what you have, bitch. I don't get it, because I myself am overweight. But I am doing something about that. Because I'm not going to sit here and be unhealthy for the remaining years of my life. That sucks. Here the article says, however, before returning to her job, she takes a long look at her reflection in the mirror. Coming to terms with her own appearance, the heroine then proceeds to gear up and return to set, this time sans her defensive gear. This is what a real woman looks like. Ronda Rousey, not real. Gina Carano, not real. This woman, this is the real deal. This is the good stuff. This is the hotness. This is new hotness. Gamer boys, you lowly dogs, nil. Now, here we go. Here's what I was talking about whenever I said that their motivation is worse than what I thought it was. I thought this was, once again, just simply trying to change men's standards and what they find beautiful or attractive. But no, here we get a statement as to what their actual motivation is. The article reads, In a promoting provided to the drum in promotion of the campaign, Dove Global VP Leandro Barreto asserted, Dove believes that beauty should be a source of confidence, not anxiety, in every aspect of life, both real and virtual. Although the games industry has made significant strides to become more inclusive, progress needs to be accelerated to challenge the narrow definitions of beauty still visible in the virtual world. Together with our partners, we hope to make a real impact on the millions of women and girls who spend their free time playing games. So let's break that down. Let's really break down what that actually means. Progress needs to be accelerated. That means their control in the video game space needs to be accelerated. It needs to grow. They need more control. This is why the term everything is political is so popular among the woke religion. Whenever they say everything is political, that gives them free rein to assert their politics into everything. And if you've been paying attention to video games, that front is field number 1. It's also where they're meeting the most resistance. You see, these people are very adept at the Mott and Bailey defense. Why they tell you that they're doing something is never why they're actually doing it. Basically, they give you a word, they want to fight racism or fascism or what have you, and then they expand the definition of that word to epic proportions to include anything that they got a problem with. Or basically, I should even say have a problem with anything that challenges their control, which is why they hate gamers so much. It continues on here. Let's see here to break this down. They want to challenge the narrow definitions of beauty still visible in the virtual world. Narrow definitions of beauty. Look through the catalog of women in video games, and they are varied. How wide do you want the spectrum to be? Well, I know exactly. They want no standards, but yet still demand that men be 6 foot tall, make 6 figures, and have 6-pack abs. And once again, before anybody starts and says, oh, well, men can't be sexualized because that's power fantasy. It's not our fault that women are attracted to power, if that's what you're implying. But okay, I'm getting off my main point here. My main point here is that they said progress needs to be accelerated. They're talking about their own control, the media control of gaming. Now, a nice little tidbit in here that Spencer also included was a study, reading from the article. Per a 2022 study conducted by researchers Christopher J. Ferguson, who is perhaps best known for his work debunking the similar claims that violent video games inspire likewise behavior. Sexualization in games was neither related to well-being, body dissatisfaction, nor sexism or misogyny. Better designed studies, and those that showed less evidence for researcher expectancy effects for sexism, misogyny outcomes, tended to find less evidence for effects, they explained. As appears commonly in other realms of media effects, the evidence is weak that sexualized games influence player attitude and behaviors. I'll tell you what, let's have some fun with this. Let's take a look at some of the comments. I grabbed some retweets and stuff, bookmarked them, because I found them to be interesting points. But first, I'm going directly to their tweet, because I saw some interesting here. Geeks and Gamers just posted a picture of Eric July saying go fuck yourself. This dude has been a real lightning rod lately just because he created a comic without the consent of DC or Marvel because he's not being controlled by the same people they are. Does anyone else find it funny how those companies will always be like, we're done sexualized women, no more hotties, then bring out a chubby woman? Like, what are they saying here exactly? Sorry, Dove, she's still hot and I'm going to sexualize her and you can't stop me. We got this simple reply. Don't like it, don't play it. Peace. Sorry, I had to channel Frost for a second. But he said, don't like it, don't play it, or stop bitching and make your own games. No, woke people don't build anything. They don't build stuff. They take other stuff over. They let other people work hard to build it, and then they take it. That's why they think communism works. Because they think that this stuff just comes out of nowhere. It's not sexualization of women you take issue with. because you know women have no problem with such characters. Whether you view attraction to traditional beauty and femininity as a threat undermining the gender dysphoric mindset your ilk are trying to promote and normalize. Feminists say that skimpy body armor is unrealistic and impractical. Also feminists, it's okay for a disabled woman to be portrayed as a soldier in World War II. Games don't have to be realistic. Make up your mind. First of all, this is an insult to all the real women who work out and stay fit. 2, it's a video game. It is not real. See my PFP? She is not real. A fictional woman being attractive isn't a crime. As a gamer girl, I don't need a video game to represent me. This is what I was saying before. I don't understand the idea of representation. It's not a democracy. You don't get your own video game character who goes to the Senate and speaks on behalf of your ideas. Dang, you trying to say all female gamers are insecure, dumpy looking idiots, eh? I absolutely hate this Exen gaming movement, the same as any other. It just means you don't care about quality at the end of the day. Well, I think a lot of video game developers have to care about quality. However, the problem is that it's being pushed to the side. It's no longer the priority. The priority is satisfying a bunch of people who don't even buy their video games. People who will never be happy. People who cannot be satisfied. It will never be enough control for them. I don't know, I can't put my finger on exactly what their end goal is. It's like they have a problem with women being mentally and physically tough. But maybe that's it. Maybe they don't want the population to be mentally or physically tough. The same way that they say that a man working out is toxic masculinity. It's them wanting to be able to be physically imposing. Well, first, you're damn right we want to be physically imposing. We want to be able to defend ourselves if shit goes down. Men being able to make decisions. That's toxic masculinity. I'm sure somebody say, no, it's whenever a man in a relationship's making decisions. Have you ever asked a woman what she wants to eat? Case closed. Once again, George has to say, and by the way, he's a very talented artist and pretty funny comic illustrator. I would suggest following him. He says, "This is horseshit. For decades, we enjoyed playing as Hulk, macho dudes, sexy chicks, silent robots, cyborg ninjas, zombies, animals, cars, rock stars, microscopic organisms, a sticky rolling ball, and even genitals. I missed that game, George." Never once did we complain about representation. If you're not at a healthy weight, maybe you should spend more time building your self-esteem outside and less time indoors seeking validation from video games. Yes, go outside, touch grass. The sun is shining. It's always a good time to take a walk. It's a very good thing to unplug from all this every now and then. But people should seek their validation from internally. And whenever I say that, I know that there's people out there who immediately assume that just means you should be happy with yourself no matter what. No, if you look in the mirror and you don't like something, it's not because society is in your head. If you don't like something about yourself, change it. If you got a bad habit that you don't like, change it. If you don't like if you don't like your weight, change it. And I know that it's hard. It's much harder said than done. Believe me, I know that. I'm still working on myself, but I can do it. You can do it. Everybody can do it. And I don't know why I feel so compelled to make a video on this. Well, I know why. I think I know why. It's just I'm getting so sick of seeing it. I'm getting so sick of it. Let people put out video games that people enjoy. It's just another attempt to get into the medium and take control. And then once they're in, because I'm sure somebody, oh, you're gatekeeping, HP. You're damn right. Because people like this, they get into games, right? They get into games and then they start changing everything and then they want to kick you out. And these are people that will never be happy. Once they accelerate their control over video games, it's not going to end at, oh, well, we're going to just put in some more body types. It will never end there. It will never end there. and then it will eat itself alive, and then it will die. And people are, well, at least I am getting sick. I'm sick of it. I am fucking had it with it. People go to work each and every day, come home, many to a job that they hate, come home, then want to play a video game or something like that. The one moment that they get to themselves, hello again, colonizer. Those people who fit into the slim margin of beauty standards are going down. At this point, I'm just rambling, so I'm going to end it here. If you want to hear more, feel free to like, feel free to subscribe. And as always, thank you very much for listening and letting me share my thoughts with you.